Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
Welcome to the Navtastic podcast about 8 seasons in a row. I'm Mr. Fernandes, and
I am Chris Jayawardena, and we got no wall.
We got no wall. We're reviewing Not Quite South of the Border, which is a very, very, very well-known and pretty infamous episode of Laverne Shirley. Directed by good old Joel Zwick and written by Deborah Letchin and Susan Seeger. Chris probably has some facts about them coming up later on. Here's what the episode's about. The girls have been saving all year for a tropical vacation, and now the time has finally arrived. They're flying off to Raoul's by the Bay near Mexico. Their dreamy hopes are soon dashed thanks to lost luggage. Fred Frick, the owner of Raoul's by the Bay, whose lies and cheapness turned their dreamy tropical vacation into a tiny plastic wading pool and a room missing an entire wall, a Montezuma's aka Raoul's revenge-bearing roommates, no air conditioning, goatee visitors, and a tropical storm. Laverne repeatedly crying that they have no wall, wants to complain, but Shirley tries to make the best of it. Will the girls get their money back or even survive near Mexico? What do you think of this one?
I really just have one serious, important question that I don't think we get answered at the end. After the storm, was the goat okay?
Yeah, I don't know if the goat was okay. They should have fed Fred to the goat.
Absolutely.
Just feed the bastard the goat. To the bay! To the bay!
To the bay! I mean, admittedly, the goat eats weeds, and he is just like a weed. That's what a lot of these shysters are. They are blights and parasitic monstrosities upon the wonderful lawns of reality.
Human lichen. Human lichen.
Yeah.
And it's like, I will do like the fact that the girls end up getting all their money back. That means they'll have a better vacation the next year. They do have another vacation episode coming up later in the season. That one goes worse for them.
Oh, dear.
If you can imagine. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. But for all their misery, they do get rewarded this time, which is okay.
Yeah.
The boys do have a better vacation in their luggage, but anyway.
Yeah, and it's sort of implied they probably snuck out of the trunk every once in a while, which is great. But but that's getting ahead of ourselves. That's all the way towards the end.
Trying to picture how they managed to do that without alerting airport security is interesting in and of itself.
Okay, so here's my theory is that all the places they went had crew members that were as dumb as they are, and they used Monopoly money to pay their way.
There you go. Hey, $10, $10. Turn the other way. Let's make sure the suitcases get on the airplane without us.
Anyway, so the but yeah, in terms of thoughts of the episode, this was a lot of fun. I mean, we actually my first experience with this was as part of the vacation watch along that we did this past summer of 2021. Because by the time this episode goes up, it'll be well into, I think it'll be like around spring 2022, I think.
Around there.
But yeah, so I'd already seen bits of the clips of the storm. I'd seen the we got no wall clip, and it's a really it's an interesting. I had a lot of thoughts about this that we'll kind of get to in terms of like pros and cons, because I'm also fascinated by how this is another episode about class. In some respects, it's about class snobbery, but it's also about a low-class guy who has barely more money than they do. I mean, this guy probably is the kind of shyster that, maybe has like $500 in his bank account rather, in his savings, or $700 in his savings, rather than them who, like, at best probably have like 20. And
exactly.
And
he's the Saul Goodman of hoteliers.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
Yeah, and so he's, and very much this whole like it's your problem, not my problem, and etc. And so it's a it's, oh god.
What are you complaining about? At least you have a pool.
Right. Exactly. It's like I think he's still kind of punching down, because I was trying to figure out, is this somebody who's higher up punching down, or is this another poor person punching sideways, which is another problem in and of itself that we see within people who are below the poverty line, and people, and because as a film person, when you work in indie film, you run into these kind of people all the time. That's like, hey, well, there's no bathroom on this location shoot in the woods. Yeah, that's more like a you problem.
Yeah. Yeah, go pee on the tree.
Right.
Basically. It's definitely a punching sideways thing. You could tell he is scraping moolah from where he can get it.
Mm-hmm.
Little dollar here, dollar here, dollar there, dollar there. But we do not feel sorry for him because he is not being kind or honest here.
Exactly.
It's hard to feel much sympathy for him because he is basically skinflinting everyone. His buffet probably gave poor Dottie diarrhea and other terrible gastrointestinal things.
Right. Oh God.
Because it's probably not the water. I probably presume it's not the running water. The girls never drink anything, so you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
there's many different ways that it could come from. I mean, it's because I know when people travel these different climates and stuff. I mean, there's a story I always remember about when they shot the movie Predator. Arnold Schwarzenegger was the only person who did not get food poisoning and have stomach problems because he imported all of his own food from the States.
He pulled the Jeff Goldblum in Vibes. Brought food and water with him.
That's right. Yes.
But yeah, it's hard to feel sorry for Fred here because he is, taking all these persons' hard-earned money.
Right.
He's taking everybody's hard-earned money. And all these people are very rich, so you gotta feel bad for like everyone but him in the situation.
Yeah. Even Lou, the kind of I think he's the pervy guy. The
creepy guy, yeah. Trying to make a pass at Laverne, the only single guy there.
Oh, and he goes, and even after Dottie is like running to the bathroom, he's like, "Wait, I didn't get your number." It's like, dude, she's either doing one barrel, the other barrel, or both at the same time. It's sorry, that's a Bob's Burgers joke, but the river runs through Bob, if I recall, is the episode. I'm curious what your take is on Shirley in this episode, because it felt shockingly Barb/Lily delusional to a terrifying point.
She pretty much goes into optimism overdrive. She's just going to close her eyes and not allow herself to realize she has been completely rooked out of her money. She's going to try to make the best out of this. She has a little fashionable run sack dress. She is marching around the pool, the little hat on. Everything's going to be fine, she swears. And she will make it fine or else.
Mm-hmm.
Laverne, meanwhile, immediately looks at the holes in the wall, knows that she's screwed, and is basically going, "We have no wall, Shirley. It's time to go, Shirley. Let's get our money back, Shirley." But no, Shirley is so determined to get her vacation time in that she will ignore everything around her.
Yeah.
She's busy being Shirlita Feeney.
There is because the line delivery of, "Oh, look, we get the pool all to ourselves." That is, I mean, it's still funny, but it's kind of depressing. There's a caustic nature. I mean, I felt I could really see Cindy acting her butt off to create this characterization. She's, hitting all these marks and saying the punchlines and setups and everything, but there's all this layers of character work of her mom and her optimism and everything's fine. I'm in control, because this is, I mean, I don't know about you, but I mean, every time I've been out someplace and gotten screwed and some friend invites me to a gathering and it's like, "Oh my God, why did you bring me here?" Or I go to an event or whatever. And, just I paid money for this. I wasted my night for this, etc. You feel so powerless. And that I noticed with Shirley, she can't stand that. And as you were saying, Laverne is immediately pragmatic. Okay, it is time to complain. It is time to either get our money back, go home, or something. But this whole, I'm gonna, it really is a testament to how much Laverne loves Shirley, because she's going with it for so long. Yeah. It takes a hurricane for her to finally say, "No, we got no wall. We're drowning. We're about to die. I have a starfish on my face. Enough." Yes, right. Oh yeah, the starfish. I realized that basically is a face hugger, and unfortunately, I'm sad that they cut out the scene that Laverne gets a bunch of Starburst candy exploding out of her stomach at breakfast the following day. Oh my
God.
And that those starbursts turn to the perfect life form that then murders the entire hotel and then goes on to ravage the countryside. I'm so bummed that they cut out that original ending.
Was that better or worse than that fanfic where Pennywise kills everybody? That ended up in a national news and a local newspaper in Milwaukee recently.
Wait. Oh, yes, that one.
Yes.
I don't. Here's the catch. The Starburst one, with it actually being candy that comes out, not an actual like xenomorph, that is easily write-offable as a Lenny writes his own fanfic of why their vacation was so bad, or Squiggy does, because Squiggy is into monsters.
But neither of the girls are naked, so
they are, however, in pillowcases, and under those pillowcases, they were naked.
Yeah. I accidentally just bit my palm. There we go. I'm committed to this podcast. I bit my palm for it. Anyway.
I've drawn blood. But before we get too far, and I want to make sure I don't forget this. I tried to do a count. I probably missed one or two. How many times do you think "We Got No Wall" was uttered?
Got at least 6 or 5 times.
It's 10.
10. Wow, it's double what I thought. That's double what I thought. But yeah, that's why this episode is extremely memorable to a lot of people. It's legendary for a lot of folks. I think it's still in the top 10 when it comes to most popular Laverne Shirley episodes on IMDb.
It's understandable.
Memorable to a lot of folks.
Yeah. And I think the whole, like, as we're saying, like, you know, this whole really putting them through the ringer, you know, the physical comedy gags. I mean, my mom laughed a storm up through parts of this. She guffawed at the goat, you know. We got another roomie, you know. And the hurricane scene, you know, was the storm. You know, you have all of this, and then it also has this really cathartic ending where like after the storm, everyone's on their side, and the mob taking over, you know, trying to throw Mr. Frick in the bay is a fantastic way to conclude it.
Yes. To the bay is incredibly wonderful. It's a great little ending.
And I love the exchange of, like, you know, it's like, now you've learned an important lesson. Avoid poverty at all costs. And for your comfort, dry blankets are available in the gift shop for a small rental fee. And I love when they attack him, that Shirley's response to him is avoid screwing people over at all costs, or something to that extent. I'm paraphrasing on that one.
Yes, exactly. Because to the bay!
Yeah, one good shark deserves another. I love that.
Yep, exactly. That's a great one.
And then there's to the safe.
We neglected to mention the really great opening scene where Frank and Edna have a pillow fight, and they start making out.
It's so great. Oh, I love it. Yeah, Frisky Frankie.
Yes. Love over 40 is beautiful.
Yeah. Love over 40. Oh, that makes me feel so old.
I think I am over 40. Anyway.
Well, okay. As of this recording, I am a month and 2 days away from my own birthday, and I'm gonna catch up to you soon, hon.
Yes. Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah. Also,
pretty much.
The scene, the pillow fight's great. I love Frank and Edna in this season, and they've been great. Phil and Betty's chemistry is so good, and you're right. It is such a great opener. We're not going to see much of them after this point, are we?
Oh, there's some episodes that are about them.
Okay.
Yes, actually. They do make a lot of appearances coming up in the beginning of the episodes. Okay. And there is a whole episode that is about their marriage in season 6.
Okay.
So there is more of them coming, yes.
Phew. Okay. Because I worry that, like, when something goes well, like, it just disappears. Because as of this recording, I'm getting close to doing the audio edit for the dance studio, which was like, yes, this is the Carmine that I kind of wanted, and it disappeared like 2 episodes into season 4. So it's like I'm so paranoid now.
Yeah, but he's been very nice this season. He has been a very good boyfriend to Shirley.
Yeah,
I admit that much. He's been very good.
He's been good.
He's been very nice.
Changing subject though. The Fisters Five and Dime. Fister everything.
Yes.
Everything.
And they picked up bikinis there, and the audience is really hot to see them in those bikinis. They don't get to, but hey.
Yeah, same audience, same.
They're almost, but not quite as horny as the dude who whistled his ass off when Penny startled that elephant.
Oh no! Oh god!
I will never forget that. It's the most inappropriate moment to whistle. What are you thinking, my dude?
Oh yeah.
All I can think of now is Mark Sotkin's book about how horny the audience was. This thinly fictionalized version of this wife on the show that he wrote a fictional book about.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, man. Okay, yes, but Frank wants the girls to go back to Brooklyn to go see Laverne's grandma again, and I would have paid money to watch that.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Just the two of them and the boys in Brooklyn again.
Yeah.
How much fun would that have been?
Oh, totally. Oh, especially because that was just the Little Italy Festival thing. We didn't get like them going to Broadway. We didn't get them dealing with Wall Street. We didn't get you could do an entire episode of them getting stuck and lost on the subway system.
Yes.
Like that could be its own episode. You could do a West Side Story riff with Carmine having to do a dance off to rescue them.
Oh man.
That which would be amazing. And there's so much that could be done, and it would have been great. I love it feels like such a New Yorker, like a city New Yorker line. It's like, yeah, your grandmother's got a fire escape, when they're asked they want a nice view.
Yep. I wish they had done this, and that is proof and part and parcel that Penny was right, and they should have just moved the whole show to New York instead of California. She was right.
Yep.
Because you think about the plot options that you get for the California seasons versus the plot options you could have had in New York, you kind of go, yeah, that would have been more interesting. But
I think it's the catches. I also think it's the time, because when you look at like the 80s, the very sunny California, like that was part of that whole like. The Three's Company crowd and Charlie's Angels and all these shows, Chips, etc. Being done at that time. And it's because that was like the thing. And that's one of the problems with TV, right? And just with anything, is that they always just like said, we want something like this. And that's all that they want, rather than, because today, looking back on it, the smarter choice is to move them to New York, because there's way more story potential and better ideas for comedy. It's culturally different. It's a weird hindsight thing. Yeah.
Penny actually said that Gary's reason for moving everybody to California was we could get more movie stars to cameo.
Who cares?
I know. That's the thing. Because the movie star cameos we do get, there's like maybe like 2 or 3. And they really aren't worth it. And there's one incredibly awkward episode that we'll tackle, and that comes up in season 7, I think.
Why do I get the feeling that's going to involve Jay Leno?
No, that's actually not the Jay Leno episode. Jay Leno doesn't appear as himself in either of his appearances on the show.
Okay, good. Anywho, speaking of actors and appearances, though, do we want to cover actor notes, or do we want to kind of get up? Oh, wait, sorry. Okay, no, I take that back. Sorry. Future me is going to keep you're going to keep all this in, Future me, because my mistakes should be safe.
Some of it.
No. It should be kept for posterity. Scale 1 to 10. How are we thinking about this hello gag?
It's pretty okay. This is a mid-range hello gag for me. At least I laughed at it.
Yeah.
Totally isolated, nowhere near humanity.
Hello.
It's about mid-range for me. It's not one of my favorites, but it's
like a 4 or 5 out of 10 for me. Yeah. It's okay. It's not bad, but it's it's there. I think it needs a stronger setup. It needs something like this thing, and get away from all our problems and hello,
Yeah, that would have been a better one.
Yeah.
That would have been a more solid one.
Yep. Oh, did you like that Laverne gives Lenny and the wrist twist, the arm twist?
Yes. And that was immediately followed by him sucking her garter belt into his mouth. I mean, good luck. He doesn't even know what it is. He doesn't even know that he has her lingerie in his mouth.
Did he have it in his mouth, or did he have it?
Yes!
Oh, God, I didn't catch that. I don't know why I didn't catch that.
Yes!
That's amazing.
It is in his mouth.
Lenny, careful. You should know where that's been, and you should enjoy that.
You would, but they don't know. They think it's secret woman stuff. They have no idea where it goes.
What is it? It holds up their shoes?
Yeah, that was Squiggy's line. It holds up their shoes.
Speaking of Squiggy, that another great example of the terrific hate sex on terrific hate sex watch. Unhand me, woman. There are countries in this world where you would be forced to bear my children. And I gasped.
Such behavior. Amazingly, Shirley does not punch him for saying that. You know she would.
Hey, maybe she's starting to get into it.
They would, like I said, terrific hate sex. Terrific hate sex between those two. She'd regret it forever, and he'd forever be her slave afterwards, but terrific hate sex.
That's a good one.
Yes, indeed. I completely forgot that creepy guy says, "You look great wet" to Laverne.
Oh, yeah, that line. Yeah, I'm amazed that got past the censors. Amazed. Same. I mean, this.
Yeah, at least. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, this is during the time when John Holmes was, making movies. Like, people.
Oh my God. I was going to say there are at least 5 or 6 gags in this show that managed to make it on the air that I'm amazed got past the censors.
Mm-hmm.
Amazed. Or like shocked.
Goodness. Speaking of porno mustaches, though, it's probably time to start jumping into those actor notes, and then we'll get to the pros and cons of the episode.
Yes.
So, the man with the mustachioed man himself, Peter Ebling, returns here as Jose, the hired hand. Sad thing to mention, this is his final episode as an actor on the show, but it is his 4th appearance. He was a multi-talented dude. He worked throughout a long period across wild projects. This guy was in the Brave New World TV movie. He was in 2 episodes of Taxi as Masha, who appears at Laka and Simka's wedding rather prominently. I actually looked up that episode to track that down. He plays 3 different supporting band member roles in Phantom of the Paradise. He's in Demon Seed, an episode of Sorota's Court, 3 episodes of V, the series, and was the bookseller in Once Bitten. I mean, this dude is still working and actually had 2 appearances in 2019. So we say goodbye to Peter Elbling now, but at least he won't be as racially insensitive on the show going forward.
We liked him better when he was a fake German.
We do. Yeah, we do. And yeah, not a gropey Italian.
Yes.
So Dottie was Lou Leonard. That she was another longtime character actor who had many small appearances, but all over the place, as far back as like the early to mid 50s, like Red Skelton Hour, My Little Margie, and The Life of Riley. She was like on Patty Duke, Route 66, and awesome piece of trivia. Now, this is my nerd trivia for today that makes me really happy. Is she was the Roadhouse waitress in Starman.
Oh, cool. That's neat.
But she also had a little spot on Cadney and Lacey, which is always great to give Sharon Gilles a little shout out there. And she also was on the Uncle Buck TV series as Mrs. Crappier. But sadly, Lou Leonard, she passed away in 1995, but at the age of 77. She had a really good run. So good on you, Lou.
Yes, she did. Good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her.
So I think Lou, the hairy guy, it appears that is William Sumpter. That's Milo. So we want to say hi, Milo. Thank you again for tearing apart Mr. Shots. And as we mentioned before, that we would cover Sumter Lotes later, and so here we go. He was a character actor in TV starting in the late 60s. He was in Gunsmoke, The Invaders, Josie's Castle, and the More Than Friends TV movie, as we mentioned, with Penny and Rob Reiner. He also was featured as the customer in Happy Days, episode 16, season 10. He looks like retired from acting in the 80s and then passed away at the age of 60 in 1990. But we will see him twice more on Laverne and Shirley, so we have that to look forward to. Okay. So we have seen Mr. Fred Frick before. Okay, season 1, and I want you, and actually here's what I'll say. Season 1, and it was an episode that introduced a boyfriend for Laverne.
Okay, that is. Don't tell me that is actually the same actor that played Sal.
That is the Milwaukee Masher.
That's the Milwaukee Masher. Oh my god, I should have recognized. Oh yeah. I'm like, Jesus, I thought my eyes and my brain had decided to die at the same time. Oh yeah, I can see it. Okay.
So he will have
That's
two more appearances on the show. He had a fun career in bit parts, from Kentucky Fried Movie, Corvette Summer, Rockin', and of course The Love Boat, which comes up a lot. But I also got to shout out that this guy was also an officer on McLeod, so that's pretty neat.
Chief.
So that was Chief McLeod. Yeah, Neil Thompson. Neil Thompson is his name. I'm sorry, I did not mention Neil Thompson as Mr. Frick. So that is our actor notes for today.
Hooray.
Yeah. And then behind the camera, I'm still working on getting those notes for Joel Zwick. They won't be for this session. I've been really busy with work, so this episode, the next two won't have Joel Zwick notes, but I will be getting more soon. He's been on a couple of podcasts in the last couple of years. I need to carve out the time to listen to it. But writer credits. So this was Deborah Leschen and Susan Seeger. So hi, Debbie. Sadly,
I love you.
This unfortunately is her last appearance as written by on the show. Boo. But as we mentioned before, Deborah Leschen is part of the dynamic duo that wrote Look Before You Leap and A Visit to the Cemetery. Her other credits on the show have included writing Fake Out at the Stakeout, Call Me a Taxi, and Steppin' Out, as well as working in the writer's room for season 8 as an executive story editor. She started out as an executive script consultant, aka a writer in the room, on the series Rhoda in 1977, which she actually continued working on even as she got gigs with Laverne and Shirley. So after her jaunt to the Milwaukee years of Laverne and Shirley, she did various writing gigs in the 80s, and then seems to have probably retired sometime in the early 1990s. Her last few projects included The Royal Family, Open House, and 2 episodes of Who's the Boss. So in the case of Susan Seeger, so her career started as a writer on Ryan's Hope in the late 70s and get an episode of Working Stiffs, which then kind of probably transitioned to this. She would then go on to co-create the shows Duet and Open House along with Ruth Bennett. And also create the one-season wonder American Dream in 1990. So it looks like she's retired from the profession as of the mid to late 1990s, writing an episode of Party Girl in 96 and exec producing an episode of Maggie in 99. But yeah, so that covers all those notes for today. But yeah, so it's a bit bittersweet, but I gotta say, this is, again, mentioning Deborah's got the sort of the class, the I guess classiness in the sense of like, it's good, it's quality character stuff for the girls, and then I think her and Seeger came up with some really fun gags and really interesting side characters for this episode.
Oh, definitely. I will say that I really liked Duet and Open House, which I watched as a kid, even though I was too young to watch them. They were like early Fox sitcoms. I was watching Living Color. I watched a lot of stuff. My parents just said they did that open hippie thing where you can watch us as long as if you're confused by something, come talk to us.
Oh, yeah.
So,
gotcha.
Yeah. So I was familiar with that stuff. And yeah, that was some good stuff. Good on them.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yes. Pros and cons.
Yes. Pro. This episode is hilarious and incredibly well paced.
Yes. The writing is incredible. The physical stunts. This is one of those times where the verbal humor and the physical humor collide very well. That doesn't always happen every time when we have an episode with a lot of physical comedy in it, but this time it really does. This time it really works. Another con, probably one of my biggest cons is that we don't get enough of the boys in this episode, but it's not, I don't know if they could have added anything to those scenes versus just being the spoilers when they're off having fun in the girls' luggage.
Yeah, and I think that's the catch, is not knowing what happened to them, I think works better because we really stay with the girls, and that discovery at the end it makes the punchline punchier. Yes.
I love that one little bit where the girls are sitting in their chairs because poor Dottie has taken the bed.
Oh, God,
sitting in chairs asleep. And Shirley's having this dirty dream about Carmine running his fingers through her hair and it's Laverne's toes.
Yes. That actually was interesting because this is the first time I think we've really have had Shirley have a sexy dream about Carmine.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. And then Laverne snores worse than Lenny, which is saying something. Oh, man. 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 I love a lot of this. I feel so sorry for poor Dottie.
Oh, goodness.
I kind of wanted an ending where her Montezuma's revenge fully solves itself, the poor thing.
Yeah, like
God.
Like she sends them a postcard later that she ends up turning out to, like, you know, she goes through this process because she was like dedicating her life to science, or her body to, you know, donating the body to science. And so therefore she's now like helped find the cure for a disease.
No, or just, I'm all better now. I loved when Shirley's just yelling, it could be raining.
Yes.
And then it just starts to rain.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Never, ever tempt fate that way. Never, ever in the middle of a storm do that.
Yep. Mother Nature just grins.
Yeah, it's just kind of rubs his palms together. Another pro, I love that as soon as you see Mr. Frick and what his whole operation is all about, he reminds me of that slimy slug guy from Rocko's Modern Life who runs that crappy theme park. And I think he shows up in a couple of other episodes, I think. But, you know, that was what it reminded me of, is that kind of slime bag that's like, you know, it's this sort of shyster schemer. You know, it's worse than a Grunkle Stan, because Grunkle Stan would prefer that you leave, you know, regardless, he's going to get your money, but he would definitely prefer that you had a smile along the way.
Yeah. At least you had a good time from what you saw, even if what you saw is crappy.
Exactly, because he knows the more fun you have, the more money you're willing to spend.
Yep, exactly. If you're not willing to give him to continue to give him your cash, you're not going to be a worthwhile mark.
Mm-hmm.
So,
also, I just came across this notice. I'm scrolling up and down. We didn't mention the double slap with the fly.
I was just gonna mention that. That was one of my last notes. Just the absolute double slap. Like, oh, I love it when they do that. I love it.
That's great. And I like when Frick kills the fly at the front desk and she dings the bell. Bullseye.
Yeah. Bullseye. Oh God. And I love that. Basically, they are probably on the Texas-Mexican border.
Mm-hmm.
This is where near Mexico is. There's only a certain amount of land where you can be near Mexico. So they're basically in Texas, and Shirley's out there speaking Spanish, which I suppose you do have to speak Spanglish in certain towns. But the fact that she's going all in on this amuses me.
Yeah, it's very Shirley. Because again, it's very Lily. Because Lily Feeney seems a certain type of condescending.
Yes, but at heart, she's not trying to like do something, be mean.
Right.
She's trying to be her good Shirley self. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, it's a case it's a case of, if she knew it was offensive, she wouldn't do it, whereas her mom doesn't care. And that's the difference.
Exactly. Barb just wants the best for Shirley in a blind way. Yeah. She wants her to have the best, the absolute best, and it doesn't matter what Shirley wants.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
Yeah.
Thus that is her blindness.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, but yeah, kind of what I don't really have much more to cover. Do you have any sort of final thoughts?
This is a terrific little episode when it comes to physicality. When it comes to physicality, this is an absolutely wonderful episode.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you enjoy the show's physical comedy side, if you enjoy it when it collides with its humorous side, but when it comes to verbal comedy, you're going to like this one.
It's a good time.
That's the final thought. That's a good time.
Yeah. I also had this bit. I did find him the bottom, very, very at the tiny bottom of my notes. Also speaking of tiny bottoms, I really had trouble not looking at Laverne Penny's butt. And she's falling off the bed. I was looking respectfully.
Yes, sure, you were looking at her butt respectfully. I believe you.
The trunk.
That's the way I look at her legs respectfully. Anyway.
The luggage had a better vacation than us, and them seeing the trunk, and I realized it's like, oh no, they got the Ark of the Covenant, and I realized, oh no, it's the Ark. That's the Ark of the Squigonant. But
Perfect.
do you think that Lenny's showing postcards or pictures because he probably got Laverne's camera in the luggage when they were traveling around?
I think he was showing off pictures.
Okay. That's pretty cool. Awesome. So I guess that's up for ranking. What do you think?
This is got to be a high 7 to an 8 for me. It's a classic. It's a classic of physical humor.
Yeah, it's
perfect.
Is solid. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna say I think we're just gonna go for an 8, just because this is, even though, like, as mentioned, like the stuff with Shirley doesn't make me terribly comfortable, but it's something I can't knock too much, because the stuff I like about it is still so fun. It reminds me in many ways of like a Babalu Mandel episode, where there's that kind of that roughness to the humor, that it's a little darker, you know, it's a little edgier in places. A little schemy. It's very fun. And yeah, as you mentioned, I mean, the staging and choreography is really good. You know, it's one of those that if they were putting these episodes together, like in say a week, maybe 2, this has got some very impressive effects and sets and gags that they have to do. And much of them in a single take. They got like 1 take to get it in some cases, and they pull it off. So it's it's a darn good little episode. Just a good time.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right.
Cool. All right. Well, if that's everything, then we'll thank you again, everybody, so much for watching Night After Night, or listening to Night After Night on wherever podcasts may be found. But if you would like to know more, you can join us at Night After Night PC on Twitter, or Night After Night Pod on Facebook, Tumblr, WordPress, Patreon, and YouTube. Anyway, so I gotta get going, because I think the next week I'm gonna be busy on set. I've got this thing to do. It's kind of got a little hush hush, this little NDA. Lisa, why don't you tell the fine folks at home what we can expect next time?
The girls volunteered to act in an army film, but unfortunately it turns out that they're doing a PSA that's anti-VD. This is You Ought to Be in Pictures.
Oh, well, I guess that I guess I don't have to worry about that NDA anymore. Okay, I guess we'll talk about that next time. See ya, folks.
Does everybody have herpes? Bye, y'all. Watch out for those coconuts and palm trees and goats.
The goat.
Watch out for that tree.
And the starfish. Don't forget the starfish.
And starfish. Don't forget the starfish.
Me and you.